Hello, and welcome to Belting at Windmills, proud member of the Doof Network, where we're explanting James S. A. Corey's novel series, The Expanse. I am longtime Expanse fan, Elliot Debo.
And making my first journey up the well, I'm Reuben Morehouse. This week we're continuing our coverage of Cibola Burn, chapters 23 through to 29. Now, in this book, we've been following a group of colonists who've split off from humanity to a far-off planet, trying to make a new life from themselves outside of Earth and humanity's government. But a faction from Earth has come to uproot them and clear the land for the government's purposes instead. And a battle between freedom and government is waged in blood through the video game Operation Bounce House. Wait, hold on. That's the summary of the 2026 Matt Dinman novel Operation Bounce House. Huh. I must have mixed up my notes. Anyway, should we get into it?
Well, wait, so you're reading that book too?
I just finished it this week, and as I was reading it, I was like, wait a second. This is basically just Cibola Burn, but with video games.
Wait, so you've been cheating on us?
Elliot, reading like 5 or 6 chapters a week of a book is not enough for me. It's actually kind of painful to still be stopping and starting the book. So yeah. I've been reading other things. That. I'm sorry to say.
Wait, so Matt Dinman, sorry, we'll get
He's
to
the guy
the
behind
podcast,
Dungeon Crawler Carl. I haven't read any of those books, but I read this book because it's a completely standalone book, and I wanted to check out his writing style, which is all right, I guess is how it summed up. Okay. I think I gave this book like a 3 out of 5.
People seem to go fucking nuts for Dungeon Crawler Carl. So
yeah, it's obviously pretty big. What's his face? Mr. Family Guy, I can't remember his name right now, is making it into a TV show. So we'll see.
Seth MacFarlane?
That's the one. Yeah.
Well, sweet. So I don't need to read the book. I can wait. In this podcast, we just wait for the TV show.
We wait for the TV show. Yeah. We're a big fan of not reading the book and instead just watching the TV show. Actually, we haven't checked in on how things have been portrayed in the Expanse show in a little while. Maybe we can check in on that in this book. But as I understand, things have kind of started to diverge a bit more and more as we get into this book. Is that right?
Yes and no, honestly. I'd actually say Cibola Burn is weirdly faithful.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, the show introduces some stuff in the first couple of seasons that I consider conceptual spoilers for book 5. So,
okay. So we can't really.
I'll be more than happy to let you have a run at the show once we've kind of done some of the stuff in book 5 where I'm like, cool, now I don't care that the show, in my opinion, dampens like what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I can see, I mean, obviously I don't really know, but my guess would be like, because of the logistics of how TV shows work, characters like, let's say, Bobby or Miller is a great example, who are like still around and Miller was obviously the one of the leads in season 1. Just kind of the way TV shows work, it's more likely that they'd want to keep him around more, and so they'd bring in things like him being a hallucination to Holden kind of earlier, or more importantly, so that they can keep the actor around. And that's the kind of thing I imagine. Maybe it's like, oh, Bobby's going to hopefully be even more of a bigger part in some of the later parts of the book, but they want to keep her around a bit earlier for continuity of the actor's work from... Can't just be like season 1 and then like season 5.
You know how a bunch of Martians kidnapped Holden in book 3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was just Bobby.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. See, that's the exact kind of thing I mean. Like moving character beats earlier to keep actors around and to keep them kind of much in contract. Yeah. Anyway, we can get into that once we do.
But anyway, let's get back to the book because
yeah.
Yes, as soon as we finish Nemesis games, we can talk about it, but not till then.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we start this week in Holden's head, and basically Holden is trying to talk to Miller, but Miller is standing him up, which is kind of annoying Holden, because Holden's like, you've been haunting me against my will for years, and now I actually want to talk to you, and you fuck off.
Yeah.
But he uses this time to kind of ponder how Ilus is already becoming familiar to him, and how humans are kind of turning it into another Earth. Like it's not being terraformed because it already sustained life, but it's becoming like humiformed, like Earth-like.
Yeah, sure. Let's call that a word. Yeah, I think. Well, first of all, I applaud Holden for trying to actually do some kind of investigating here of like what the fuck is going on this planet. That's a good instinct. Um, we'll come to later why it should have been a bit, more important earlier, because you might have gotten the jump on some of the crazy things that this planet seems to do. That's fine. But yeah, I liked in this early part of the chapter, Holden's reflecting on his like Montana upbringing, right, and how it's giving him kind of affection for this like uh, free Roman kind of living off the land vibe. I think that's a really fun beat, and I think it contextualizes why he's like he fits in very naturally here with the townies and kind of smoothly stepping into the sheriff role. I mean, obviously we're in the future, so I don't know what Montana exactly looks like in the future, but that kind of like whatever, like Midwestern or Southern um, freedom and liberty and bit of old West heritage vibe, I think is really it fits in with his upbringing in this story in a way that I hadn't really put together.
Yeah, like he sort of mentions that Montana is one of the places that's held out relatively well against human expansion. Like
Mm.
as the rest of the planet has kind of been converted into a lot of mega cities or just places where no one lives, Montana managed to stay fairly green. Um,
So it's like one of the northern states, right? It's like one of the states that, in my mind, is just kind of like light Canada vibes.
that's
Apologies
my
if that's
understanding
offensive
too.
to Americans or Canadians, but that's kind of what I think of. There's like a few states up the top of America that I think are just kind of effectively Canada vibe.
Yeah, no, 100%. They're basically little Canadas in America. They're Canadas with guns.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Um,
Anyway,
Yeah. So yeah, I think the other interesting thing that jumped out to me because we kind of saw a bit of this from Holden right at the start of the book where he was on Medina or the Nauvoo or the Behemoth or whatever we call it this week. Um, and he was sort of like he was watching the Belters plant crops and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna forget how to do this because everyone's just gonna go back to living on planets."
mm,
Um, and then the way he was sort of like romanticizing the like Montana upbringing and stuff, I was just like, well, he seemed to specifically be bemoaning that he's like, there's 1,000 planets and we're going to make them all look just like Earth, aren't we? Like humans just, we're too deep in our own shit. They're just going to be a bunch of city megalopolis planets. And they're all going to look identical. And that's such a shame. Like our species sucks.
mm.
And I guess what jumped out to me in that is like, wait, that doesn't. Belters and Martians don't fit that much. Like, what's been really fun about this setting up until now is Mars and the Belt and Earth all felt so distinct.
Mm.
And so it's interesting that like Holden's almost pre-bemoaning the fact that now everywhere is just going to be Earth again. Like we're about to, I guess, like lose Mars and the Belt or that kind of variance in human existence that the Mars and the Belt created.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, maybe, I don't know. Like the point you're making about how there is variance. Obviously, the variance within the belt seems to be resource based, right? But the variance with Mars and Earth isn't that resource based, unless I guess it's like a space, not enough space thing.
Well,
But even then, like it's not that every single planet that they find is going to be Earth-like. Like there's still going to need to be kind of, I don't know. Maybe this is just a case where they don't need to do terraforming here, but I suspect they will still need to for some of the other planets they find, right? Or is that not the vibe?
yeah, I guess that's a good point. We don't know what the other
We don't know every planet
1,300
is going to
will
be
look.
Earth-like as opposed to Mars-like, right? Or whatever else it could possibly be. And as we'll see soon, this planet is not as Earth-like as it might appear.
Yeah, it was more Earth-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like with Mars though, it's like it's only not Earth-like for now. Like
Yeah,
Mars's
sure. That's fair.
whole goal as a
It's
civilization is
terraforming.
ostensibly to become an Earth-like.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's interesting. I don't know. I feel like is it in this week's chapters? I thought it was Havelock, but I went to look in my notes and I couldn't find it. someone's reflecting on just like the inevitability of progress a bit more. Maybe it is in this section, and I'm just getting confused. Like the townies kind of are fighting against the inevitability of like this march of progress, just because of the fact that humans are fucking bunny rabbits and will fill up all the available space with babies if they can. It's just kind of a fact of life, you know. It's not like I understand Holden's kind of ennui at thinking about this land being peppered with skyscrapers, but you know, the reason the townies
Yeah.
ran here is because they were fucking dying from not having enough space. So if there's a trade-off to be made, I'll take the skyscrapers over, you know, people dying.
Yeah. No, but it's that interesting like lack of creativity in the human species, I guess, that like it will
Yeah.
kind of end up looking the same. But like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I think you're right. Like the way it kind of reflects on how he's slotted into playing but we use the word sheriff here in the notes, and I love that. Like he basically is walking around with Murtry going, this town ain't big enough for the two of us, really.
Yes, exactly right.
I guess I also like the other side to this, as well as Holden's despair at how samesies were going to make everything. He's already like noticing that he's just treating Ilus as like like is that human way that like we just normalize our conditions way too easily. Um, so like we would like talking about this at the start of the book, where like, you know, the mimic lizards popped up and the townies were just like batting them away like they were regular wildlife, and we're like,
Yeah.
what the hell? This is magical, and Holden's already finding himself kind of doing that too. And I don't know, that is just like fun to think about, because like I guess you could say the same thing about like if you think about smartphones, you show smartphones to someone from 30 years ago, and they're like, oh, this changes everything. And now I'm here in 2026. Like, yeah, I mean, not necessarily for the better.
Yeah,
And
you're
we're
right.
just kind
We've
of
adapted
like glued to
to
them
that
now.
pretty. In the past, 10 years? It's been pretty radical of a change.
Yeah, and like I guess, you know, yeah, it's the same sort of thing with like Ilus and stuff, where it is that thing where like something crazy new will happen, and within a like upsettingly short period, humans just be like, yeah, but like I got used to it.
Yeah, yeah. It's true. We just adapt, and I think, I mean, God, I'm really struggling to not talk about the fact that the planet is blowing up by the end of these chapters. But like, I want to focus on the bits that are in these chapters, but all these pieces with the knowledge that the planet is about to explode, I'm like, yeah, you know what? They were getting too comfortable with just living next to an alien ruin, and this is the exact thing that went wrong.
Okay, well let's move on from the ennui of this peaceful planet that isn't so peaceful.
Yeah.
So yeah, Holden. This is where Holden finds out that Naomi has been kidnapped. Oh, not kidnapped, captured. I will give Murtry and Havelock that one. Kidnapped seems like a strong word. She was on their ship. Yeah, basically he's actually more horrified to find out that Amos found out before him. So he runs home and manages to save Murtry from Amos, and then tries to make a deal to get Naomi back and just kind of stop everyone from continuing to escalate. But unfortunately, he is making this appeal to Murtry, so it doesn't work.
Yeah. It's a good pitch, though. I mean, like, it's a good pitch. It doesn't work because, yeah, the picture of Murtry that we've gotten, and Holden, I think, has got too, is Murtry wants things to boil over for justifications to kind of squeeze the glove a bit tighter, right?
Yeah.
So of course he's not going to intentionally de-escalate, because he wants to keep the pressure high so that there are more incidents for him to kind of justifiably respond to. So yeah,
I also think he's been not very subtly trying to set it up so he's in charge and Holden isn't, and having Holden's girlfriend as a prisoner makes that so much fucking easier.
Yeah. I do think he is underestimating Holden, though, in the sense of like, he seems to have this opinion that Holden, because he's a representative here trying to act impartially, that he won't just kind of pull the trigger if he's pushed into it, whether that's shooting Murtry or blowing up the ship from the Rosie, right? But
Mm.
I think that's a mistake. I think Holden is not that far off of doing this, and a situation like the tsunami or whatever might be enough to get him there. Or if Miller's little virus that's in his brain just makes him a little bit more Milleristic, then it might happen naturally.
Yeah, no, I mean, Naomi kind of says this to Havelock
Yes.
in a few chapters, but she's like, "Hey, like Holden really cares about his crew, and it's like he's here as a mediator, but like if I'm kept prisoner for too long, eventually he's going to decide that he'd rather flip the table over
Yeah.
than keep doing that." Yeah, like no, I think I agree. Like Murtry had that whole speech about how Holden's famous, so he knows Holden won't just be like a brutal murderer, but like, and this is the bad side of Holden's fame. It's like actually I think the good side is you're caricaturing him a bit, and like we actually have seen a number of times in this series
Yeah.
where Holden will just turn into a murderer. They're just not what he's famous for.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think, as you're right, as Naomi says, he's not that far off from just flipping the table, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's yeah, that's not the part he got famous for. So Murtry is not aware of that part of him.
Mm, yeah.
Um, but anyway, eventually Miller does show up, and he's like, "Hey, Holden, I need you to go look at that cyst that I found in my interlude at the end of last week."
Mm-hmm.
And Holden's like, "Look, I will. Just let me get Naomi first, and maybe use some of your magic powers to help." Like he doesn't say that, but like surely it's implied.
It's what he's thinking. Yeah, definitely.
Um, I really like how like Miller sort of shows up and kind of makes the joke of we need to talk, which has become their
Mm,
opening bit of banter between the two
very
of them.
fun. Yep.
But yeah, and Holden's like, he made jokes now. He was almost like a real person. Somehow that was more frightening than when he'd been insane. And I just love little like inversions of expectations like this because like Holden's right. The proto molecule being able to more accurately represent like the nuances of a human and like have a smarter ghost is scarier for what it's capable of. So it's like
Mm,
weirdly, the fact it's crossed Uncanny Valley is worse, and that's just fun.
yeah. No, I do love this. I think I talked about way back when we first started seeing Ghost Miller, him actually becoming like a full-on human, and I
Yeah.
love that we're really slowly moving along that path before
Yes.
finally in book 9 he builds himself a new body or whatever the fuck's going to happen. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I also like I like how I mean he's still Miller, so he's not exactly clear about what he's saying, but like he's become a lot like at least we've got enough context to know what he's talking about, which is just like book 1 Miller, where it's like, oh,
Mm,
we've been in his head enough to understand his bullshit. Um and like what's interesting is now Miller is so openly aware of like how lacking in free will he is. Like he's basically talking to Holden here and he's like, "Oh, I'm just like I have free will as long as I'm doing what the proto molecule's pushing me to doing." Like what does he say? Its hand is so far up my arse that I can taste its fingernails.
yeah.
Um like and he sort of compares changing what the proto molecule wants to changing like the sunrise. Like he's like,
Mm,
I've been able to do stuff for you before, but that's because it just pushed me in the direction it was already going. Like that's just called predicting the sunrise. But yeah, and the stuff about changing the sunrise and like not being able to change the proto molecules will got me thinking. Didn't Julie do that at the end of book 1?
I don't fully remember, but it sounds right. Um, yeah. So I guess I also am of the opinion that while Miller is saying this now, those lines are going to get only more and more blurred, right? They're only going he's only going to get more and more like influence over the proto molecules ideas in a way that I think has been pretty hinted at since basically since he kind of manipulated, is that the right word, Julie to not kill humanity. It
Yeah,
just feels
yeah.
feels like that's where this book is going, a kind of merge between humanity and whatever the proto molecule species is called. um and kind of to that end, yeah, Holden really does need to know more about what killed these aliens, right? Like I'm glad that he isn't reluctant to dive into this, and obviously at the start of the chapter, he's trying to do this by summoning Miller, because this is still the most important potential danger, but also potential boon to humanity. So, Holden, you got to get on that pretty quick.
Yeah, it is. Like Miller sort of makes the point. He's like, "Hey, like, you need to go find out what killed the proto molecule creators because, like, that monster's not going to go away just because you bury your head in the sand." And it's a really fucking good point. Like, yes, we're dealing with the thing that like killed the civilization we can't comprehend in a way that civilization couldn't comprehend. So we're two layers of incomprehensibility away from this thing, but like it's there. Like we gotta start trying.
Yeah, but remember, in War of the Worlds, that the invading civilization is killed by a human virus. So, despite the fact that it's what a civilization who we can't comprehend, it doesn't necessarily mean it's escalating another level up. It could also be escalating another level back down towards humanity, right?
Yeah, the old Asgard and replicators situation.
Yeah.
Um,
But
did
I
you
do
get far
think.
enough in Stargate to see that?
No, I didn't. I just nodded along to that one. I didn't understand what you were
Okay.
talking about.
Basically, the Asgard have to hire the humans to help them with their enemy because the only thing that kills them is like really primitive shit like guns, and the Asgard are
Oh, I
so advanced
see.
they can only consider like lasers.
They're so advanced they can't think of an old school gun.
Yeah, but that's basically their pitch, and they're like, "We
That's
need
funny.
someone dumber to fight this enemy for us." And Earth is like, "You've
Yeah.
come to the right place."
Yeah, but so it could be like that. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. The other thing that kind of this made me remember is like, we've spent so much time with the proto-molecules conceptually that I'm almost like, and I'm sure it's not going to be this simple, but who is going to be the goodie in this conflict? You know what I mean? Like, who is the actual of these two unfathomable alien civilizations that we might run into? Is there going to be one that we are a fan of and one that we are not a fan of from a morality perspective? I'm kind of thinking, like, I don't know. Is either of them going to be beneficial to humanity, or are they both going to be bad? I guess is really the heart of it. So yeah, we'll
No, I
see.
see what
We'll
you mean
see.
because the proto molecule is running around like doing genocides. So like, there's absolutely room for us to find out that this other civilization was like, "Hey, no genocides," and like that's
Exactly right.
yeah, like that's a defensible position.
If that does happen, Miller's by design on the side of the genociders, if that's the situation, right? So I think that'll be really interesting. But I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. Again,
Yeah,
it's hard to not like take things from the Mercy of God's books and use that to factor in my thoughts about what these authors are thinking about at this point in time. But we'll see.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean,
It's so
yeah,
funny.
I don't
No,
know. That,
to dive into that a bit more actually, because I just read well, one of my favorite books I read this year was Station 11, which is a book from like 2014, but it's about a post-pandemic kind of a pandemic apocalypse that then kind of the book takes place before and after that. But this was from 2014, right? And then this author,
yeah,
Emily St. John Mandel, has written another book. I think they wrote it in like 2022, um, that is also about a, a different pandemic. COVID is mentioned in it, but then there's another pandemic that takes place in it as well in the year 2200. And I'm just like, it's so interesting to see the through line of like an author being focused on a topic or a theme like virus pandemics and then
yeah,
like carrying that through their work, especially when there has been a viral pandemic or whatever, in the years since. I think it's really interesting to look at this book and then look at The Mercy of Gods and see the through lines of like, the intersection between alien and humanity and like an alien parasitic host learning to be human by its interactions with humanity. Like these are themes that are very clearly kind of present in both these stories. And I think it's interesting to see what that continues to look like as we potentially get into the topic of galactic spanning civilizations, which obviously the
yeah,
the Mercy of God's books do deal with, and this one hasn't yet, but is kind of getting towards it.
yeah. No, yeah, it's been very hard not having anyone podcasty to discuss I think there's a lot of fun ways the series compare and contrast. Like,
Mm,
I brought it up when we covered the Mercy of Gods for the Doof Book Club. I was like, Daffod's really fun as a main character because he's clearly the
mm,
anti-Holden.
yes, totally.
Like,
Yeah.
like it felt like they were doing that same sort of thing Wilbur used to talk about doing, where he'd have like his next protagonist try to cancel out the writing habits he'd gotten from the previous
Yes.
one, and like
Yes.
you can see Daffod is just
Daffod is a
such a
very fun
different.
protagonist. Should
Yes,
we? I mean, have we
yeah.
talked about the idea of doing a like bonus episode or something about those books? Should we just kind of set up for the audience of this show? Like, we're probably going to talk about them a bit more. I think it's probably going to be inevitable. So maybe take that as a bit of like bonus assigned reading if you want it.
Yeah, yeah. I have a feeling like we've scheduled in our breaks between Expanse novels, so maybe we'll try and do
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. A Mercy of God's
like
little
an
mini
episode
ep
of
thing.
Carrick's on My Wayward Son. Then
Yes. Yeah. Great. Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
standing by that name. Um,
It's great in a very terrible way. In a real like
Thank you.
all packed up to fuck. I can't even remember
Yes,
what it was. Anyway,
yes.
all packed up to all paled up beyond the pale. Was that what it was?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was because I gave you three. I was like, here are my three ideas for a title, and you're like, we're doing all
Let's do
three.
all three. Anyway, yeah, classic.
Um,
Should we get on to the
yeah.
next chapter?
Yes, chapter 24. We're over in Elvie's perspective, and she's having a dream, and it's about like university pressures, and she forgot her pants,
Yeah,
and
classic.
she start she starts hooking up with Holden. It's a real high school fucking mess of a dream.
Yeah, I
Um,
love the transition from I'm embarrassed I forgot my pants. Oh wait, I forgot my pants. Hold, do you want to
yeah,
make something of this opportunity? It's such a funny transition in a very dreamlike,
yeah,
nonsensical way. I thought it was
yeah, but it's also like, I don't know, it really feels like a dumb high schooler's dream as well. Like, yeah. Um it's a good literary dream as well, and like you can easily map the metaphors her brain is making to what's going on in real life too.
great.
Um but yeah, anyway, the point is she then wakes up and it turns out one of the moons is just like melting. Um
Yeah,
like basically she wakes up and reality is somehow less hinged than her weird dream.
yeah, yeah. So that's weird. But can we talk about? There's a line. So she's like, she turns over a piece of paper or whatever in her dream, and there's she reads it and it says like she owes fines at temple, rabbits and hogs, and I'm like, that's got to be a reference to something. It feels like it's hinting at something, and so I was like googling it, but all I could find was reference to this book, so I didn't want to spoil myself or anything, so I stopped. But like, what is this? What is this? Is this something? Did you look into this?
Yep. I no, I did. I had the exact same reaction as you. I read that quote and I was like, this is some literary reference I don't understand.
Mm.
Wait, this is another fucking Shakespeare or something. Um, I couldn't find anything. So if you're listening to this and you know what the finds at temple, rabbits and hogs thing was referencing, please throw it in the comments because I guessed Watership Down, but that didn't give me anything either.
Mm.
Like I
Yeah.
know the
Fine.
authors of these books love their references to be as pretentious as possible. Like they basically said that. Um,
Sure. Is Watership Down a pretentious reference?
I feel like yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Um,
Um.
but yeah, no, wait, I don't know if we've talked about it, but that's actually like they've said that that's basically their naming process for the novels in this series is like they try to make the mythological references as like mainstream but um like pretentious as possible.
mm, yeah. Yeah. Which I think is a good way to do it. To be honest, it gives
Yeah.
you a bit more. I don't know. It gives you this like little bit of weird literary credibility in a fun way, even if it is like
Yeah.
intentionally pretentious. But no. So if this isn't a reference, it's got to be hinting at something. And so I was trying to be like, okay, what's the temple? What's the rabbits? What's the hogs? And I was like, okay, well, the temple could be the alien ruins. The rabbits and hogs could be the life on this planet, or like the townies and the RCE. I'm like, what? I didn't get anywhere with it, to be honest. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to try and make a mental note to revisit this because it's got to be it's either a reference we're not getting, and hopefully the audience will fill in, or it's something we're going to be like,
Yeah, this is an opportunity to write in our Reddit thread about how wrong and stupid we are. So take full opportunity, take full advantage of it, gang.
yeah, I know I would. But yeah, anyway, the moon is melting, and Elvie decides she needs to be the one to tell Holden about it. Um, on the way, she kind of casually stops Jacek, Baj's son, who he forgets about, from doing a murder because he's
Yeah, that's
basically there to
nice.
kill Holden.
Yeah, pretty good work, but this is the first time Elvie has done something intentionally good in this story. Well done.
I think it's really cool that Elvie actually like she has this moment where she like her like hindbrain clocks that like Jasek's working up to violence, and the like biologist in her enters like, oh, he's a primate threatening me mode, and she's about to like call for help, and then like her higher brain chimes in, is like, hey, this is just like a kid, his family, like he's just in a bad place, like talk to him like a human being.
Yeah.
And she does, and it works. And it's just so nice to see that, like, yeah, I guess as we're dealing with people like Mercury really just leaning into the like tribal monkey nonsense, at least Elvie manages to resist that urge.
Yeah, she thinks what would Fayez do, and that is a great mantra to live by.
Absolutely. And I also I just had to call out this quote. I mean, I just always enjoy the banter in this series so much. And like, there's this great line where when Elvie finds out the moon's melting, she's like, "And Holden, what about him? Does he know?" And Fires is like, "Even if he does, like, what's he gonna do about it? Speak to it reassuringly."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Elvie seems to think Holden is I don't know, like a god or something.
Yeah.
Like he's just a dude. No matter how big the pedestal you put him on is, he's just a dude.
Yeah, exactly. But I just like I just respect the authors so much for making sure Fires didn't just say that. He had to be like a sarcastic asshole about it.
Yeah.
And like we get a lot of that from Amos and Holden and stuff throughout all the books and these chapters especially. It's just always good.
Yeah. I hadn't thought that Naomi being captured is the first step towards Holden being on the market again, but Elvie thinks that very quickly, which is great. She's really a mess. And then, yeah, this melting moon thing, I have no idea what it could mean other than all the bokoblins and Lionel's about to respawn. But obviously it seems to be the start of this cycle of, well, I guess you would call it a fifth season, is effectively what it is.
Yeah, see, those references are all way more creative than mine. I was just thinking, oh, local Carmine got nerfed.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. No, I wonder if that's what it is. It's like a fifth season kind of vibe of like an era of rebirth on the planet that they partially use to like clean up or do things with their terraforming. Because like Elvie suggests, what we're about to get into is Elvie suggests that this is, or that what we saw before was the system failing, right? With the previous like robot they blasted.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Well, yeah, sorry. I'll interrupt you to just cover it. But yeah, basically, Elvie. This is where Elvie tells Holden something she's been thinking about, which is like the way hibernation works. It has a failure rate, so she's worried that all the weird shit they're seeing happening on this planet, like the giant robots and stuff, those are actually just the ones that are failing, and that like according to the model, that means a lot more things are waking up, but they're just doing it properly, so we're not seeing them. So, like in this case, we've been told there's 14 moons, and one of them started melting. Does that mean the other 13 have now turned on and are doing whatever the fuck they're meant to do? Like, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't. And I think with the tsunami stuff in mind, what we're kind of meant to think is like things are going wrong. But I actually think this is maybe just like the natural cycle of this planet that's been not natural because it's been engineered by the Molecule Society, but like the cycle that they've engineered for this planet. of just, yeah, like chucking in a kind of biblical era plague to wipe things clean in preparation for something or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It just feels like a system that whoever built the proto-molecule might kind of conceptually build in.
Yeah, sure. Just like the equivalent of washing your hands before you do surgery, right?
Yeah,
If the planet's about to do something, it's like, oh, we just need to quickly sterilize it.
exactly.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. I get
And
what you're
then it's
saying.
going to start like pulling out the lithium and turning it into, proto-molecules or whatever the fuck, Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which then indicates that the place that they have hit out, that the temple slash ruins, is potentially like, if it does survive, if it's part of this cycle naturally and it's meant to be there for a while, then its role is probably something like a factory, or it's obviously its role would be pivotal in this post sterilization phase. So they're right in the right place for things to keep going crazy, basically.
Yeah, they picked the perfect place to hide from a story perspective.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, the other thing that I took note of at this section is like thinking about, okay, if we have seen successful wake ups, what would that be? And like the mimic lizards are a potential option for that because they're pretty weird, right? They've been a presence in the book. So from a like, a dualistic perspective, you can look at it and see that they kept getting brought up. So maybe there's a reason for that. But then also they can
yeah.
mimic human sounds, which is like a bit proto-molecularly. So maybe that's like enough to make them a bit of a proto monster. But then they're probably all about to get wiped out. So maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe this like tsunami is about to turn them into like giant mechanoids. I don't know. We'll see. That'd be fun.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's like, how like eucalyptus seeds need fire to activate.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. So something about this like shockwave carries some impulse that like has these mimic lizards change to dig up lithium and turn themselves into the giant walking spider creatures that they killed, or whatever,
yeah, yeah, no, the only thing that can beat them is the Rosie's Megazord.
That'd be fun.
But yes, anyway, we will get back to Elvie's theory that weird shit's happening on the planet soon enough.
Yeah.
Um, but for now, yeah, chapter 25, we're in Barge's head. So he's still up on the Rosie. He's just chilling. He takes a pretty awkward call from his son, who isn't Katoa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and Jasek still feels pretty on the edge. I mean, obviously, he was about to kill Holden. He's kind of been slightly talked off the ledge there, but not enough to make it feel permanent. Barzia gives him a task to take care of your mum, and that's like very Barzia motivation because Barzia's whole motivation is to take care of his family. So he thinks that's what would be enough to give his son motivation. Doesn't seem to really land. Because we as the audience, and I think Barzia also, don't really have a good idea of what Jasek thinks or needs.
Yeah,
He doesn't seem to
what
think about him enough.
who he is as a person.
Exactly, exactly. So we'll see. I think that's a problem delayed, not a problem solved, in short.
Yeah, I think it just really, really speaks to how not okay things are on this planet. Like really, because we're going to see a bit more in the two Baja chapters this week that like Baja's starting to figure out what his path forward looks like or whatever, but like that does not apply to Jacek yet.
Yeah. Yet. Yeah,
Um,
totally.
But yeah. Anyway, the back half of this chapter is pretty fun because Buzz is talking with Alex since they're the only two left on the ship since Naomi pissed off. And we basically get like an Alex backstory lore dump.
Yeah, finally. A bit of an Alex focused chapter. Yeah, I don't know that I can relate to the such strong desire to do long haul flights that you blow up your life. It's pretty, yeah. It's a level of dedication to a profession that I don't know I can, yeah, relate to.
I I agree. I also and I actually will say I think Alex is better than me for this, but like I don't know that I could handle the guilt of so like the story he gives us is basically he and his wife put up put up with doing long distance for 20 years because the idea
Mm.
was then once he retired from the military, they could actually be together.
Yeah.
And then Alex got there, realized he still wanted to be flying. They had fights about it, and he just one day got up and left.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, like he's sort of like I understood that like for her it was like she did her 20 years of service and now her reward was meant to be time with me, but I just couldn't give that to her.
Yep.
And I thought what was interesting to that to me is like, man, I just would have stuck it out and been miserable and like stayed there. And in some ways, I like he maybe could have handled leaving better, but like I think it would be more toxic to stay and be miserable in some ways.
Sure.
Um, but like she waited 20 years, man. Like I think you just got to suck it up. like I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I do.
I feel the same way, but that's also because I kind of don't understand Alex's motivation. Because to me, doing long haul flights would be one of the worst things in the world. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's nice to get some focus on Alex and understand him a bit because he has always been kind of the fourth or fifth wheel of the racing
Yeah.
crew.
And I will say, I don't know. You may have forgotten this detail, but it was given to us in Caliban's War by Avasarala, so I'm going to bring it up. I think she mentioned Alex has a son or child he
Yes.
doesn't know about.
Yes.
So that's really the extra icing on the cake of him just giving the story of like, so one day I just left, and it's like we're sitting here with a little extra tidbit of knowledge you may or may not remember, which is
Yes. She was pregnant.
Yeah, Talissa was presumably pregnant when he
Or
did.
he cheated on her or something, but yeah.
True. Either way, makes it worse than just the story he
Yes.
tells in this chapter.
Well, yeah, I don't think the takeaway from this is that Alex is a stand up guy. I mean, like
No.
it's he, I'm trying to not be too judgmental because we do have the note of like everyone who was on the Canterbury. We had it explained that nobody really ends up in that job because their life is going super great, right? So everyone's kind of they're meant to be like a bit on the fringes and all that jazz. But yeah, kind of a shitty move, dude.
Yeah. I do like though, like obviously they've waited like 3.5 books to give us this characterization of Alex, and I do love how seamlessly it does slot into like some advice for Baja, where he's like, "Look, like Alex is in this weird place of like, yeah, I'm like kind of a selfish fuck up, but like I can't take it back. The best I can do is like make sure I take ownership of it." And like Baja's in quite a different boat, especially because he's still ongoing. But like it's fun. We're gonna get to talk about like him taking the first steps based on what Alex told him, and it's a fun tie into what Baja's going through in this book.
Yeah, it's interesting as well to like you try not to be too like morally judgmental of these characters because it's what makes stories interesting if you have morally complex characters, right? Like I've been reading The Shining, and one of the things that I think Stephen King does so well is like all his characters, especially his protagonists, are almost always people who've just done something really fucked up. Like so in The Shining, the main character, Jack Torrance, the reason that they have to take this job at this hotel is because he got fired from his job as an English teacher after like punching a kid. And he also, in a drunken rage, after having recently quit being an alcoholic, broke his son's arm. And this is your main character, right? And you're like, huh, well, how do I feel about this? But then this character isn't just a bad dude. He's like kind of defined by his love for his family as well as these two big mistakes he's made in his recent past. And I think that makes these books so much richer, right? So yeah, it's nice that we've got Alex's backstory here, so we can get a bit more richness, even if that richness is kind of you're a bit of a shitty guy.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so like you mentioned the Canterbury, like I guess.
Yeah,
I'm taking a step back, but obviously, yeah, you mentioned like we've had it established that everybody who was on the Canterbury kind of ended up on the bottom for a reason.
Yeah.
So Holden Why was Holden there again?
Well, we don't have the answer to that, really, do we? I don't,
Yeah,
and
or
same for
Naomi, I don't think.
Naomi. No, yeah,
Yeah.
I think we've got enough pictures of Amos now and of Alex to understand that. Not
Yes.
really, yeah, not really Holden and not really Naomi. So I think there's more
Yeah.
to see there, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Um, also, like, I guess along the lines of just appreciating getting some Alex focus, um, I also really enjoy we through Barja's perspective, we get to see this little conversation between Amos and Alex,
Mm,
um, which I just really like because I guess usually we only see those two really through Holden's perspective, or like Naomi's there too, and like Holden and Naomi run this ship. Those guys are like, part of the family, but they're not like the leaders. That's Holden and Naomi.
yeah,
Um, so it actually felt quite novel to get this little insight into how Alex and Amos function and talk to each other as like the two brothers of this family. Um, yeah, it's just nice kind of like when Alex is like, yeah, if I find out something bad's happened to Naomi, I'm just like it's gonna be raining bits of the Israel down on you guys. And Amos is like,
yeah,
that won't fix anything. And Alex is like, yeah, but it's gonna happen.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
like I don't know, yeah, they're like the two children that Holden and Naomi don't have, and it's just nice to see what they're like when their parents aren't around.
Yeah, I like that as a beat. But yeah, no, it's nice to see Alex as well, because obviously, like the reaction when we see Naomi is taken is we understand what Amos and we understand what Holden's reaction will be to that. And in fact, Holden like
Yeah,
goes sprinting to find Amos because he knows things are going to go bad when this happens, right?
yeah,
But uh, Alex, we don't really know. He's a bit more because he's a bit more detached. We don't really know what his reaction is going to be, but it seems to be just very much along the same lines of "Yep, we'll blow you fuckers up if you do anything," and it's just nice. It's nice that they're all so close, including Alex.
yeah. Honestly, one of the highlights of this series to me as we get into this middle trilogy is just how in sync and like a family the crew of the Rosie is. Like, it's just really nice to have a tight knit, fucking streamlined crew.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, anyway, let's get into we're jumping ship. We're going over to Havelock's perspective, so we're going over to the Israel, um, and basically the ever beleaguered captain of the Edward Israel is showing Havelock the message they've received from Alex, basically saying if they do anything, he will shoot the shit out of them.
Mm.
And the captain is sort of like, "Hey, Havelock, remember that speech I gave about how we shouldn't like escalate and make people want to shoot us? How's that going?"
Yeah, great. Yeah, no, this captain. I think it's so funny how little of a character he is. Like he's there, but he's not really important because he doesn't really have any authority in this situation.
Yeah, but like I love how that's almost like that is his character, right? Like he
Yes,
just
yes.
he keeps popping up and being like, "Hey guys, like, can we just
Can we chill the fuck
can we not?"
out?
Like he's trying to be the sane voice of reason without the ability to do anything, so he doesn't amount to anything because nobody's listening to that. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, like I like he kind of gives a little talk to Havelock here, and he's like, "Man, I thought like the risks I was taking coming out here is like, oh, like it's gonna be so isolated, and there could be alien threats or whatever." He's like, "Now I'm just having to deal with like fucking other human ships pointing guns at me. Like this fucking sucks."
Mm. Yeah. And it's the right instinct, but
This dude thought he was signing up to be like on the Enterprise,
yeah,
and
exactly.
instead he's actually still just doing battle with like regular fucking humans.
Yeah, which in fairness, I mean, when the RCE left for this journey, they knew that the townies were there or heading there. So that he probably could have put
Yeah.
together that there was going to be a bit of conflict. But yeah.
Yeah. Um, I also want to call out. I mean, we're going to get into Havelock and Naomi, but there's basically a little quote early in the chapter where he's sort of physically describing what Naomi's wearing, and he's like, "Yes, enemy capture protocol didn't allow her to have a hairband, a hand terminal, or her own clothes." And I just
Mm.
like paused after reading this because I was like, "What enemy capture protocol? Like you work for an energy company? Like what are you talking about?"
Yeah, that if your employee handbook has enemy capture protocol, I think that's a sign to reassess.
Yeah, I get he works in security and he is coming from Protogen and stuff, but I was still like, I'm just like, sorry, in what world
No,
does Royal Charter Energy?
if there's like people blowing up pipelines or whatever, I can kind of see it, but it's still a
Oh,
bit
true.
crazy.
Yeah, I guess yeah, like the world of like private security that goes beyond being a mall cop is just so alien to me. Lines like this jump out, and I'm like, man, people are living wholly different lives to what I can fathom.
Mm. Yeah, totally. It's just a
Like,
complicated
I mean,
world.
this is the thing. Every time like I rediscover that like private armies exist, like when you're watching season 3 of Slow Horses or something, um,
Mm.
and it's just kind of wild that that shit happens.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. It's a big and complex world we live in, Elliot.
Yeah. And soon to be thousands.
Mm. Yeah,
Um,
true.
but yeah, so Havelock kind of has a chat with Naomi because he's having to keep her in his like drunk tank cell because that's all they've got. Um, and Naomi sort of explains like there's not really a lot she can do to stop Holden and the rest of the crew from going ape shit to get her back. Like she's kind of the de-escalator. They've done the equivalent of take the Avery out of the Rocinante. Like you've left all the people who don't know when to stop.
Mm.
Um, so like good luck.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and so this is where I had like yeah, just more notes on. I just like I guess the Rosie crew aren't in sync because they're all very different people, but they it's that like intimacy, the way they know each other. Like Naomi just sort of predicts exactly how all three of them are reacting to this, and you're just like, based on what we're seeing, she's fucking spot on. Um, and
Yeah.
there's just something so enjoyable of like having a crew like this that's just kind of so yeah, like got each other's patterns down and like just work so seamlessly off each other even though they're different.
Yeah, they very much that they've obviously spent so much time together that they really know each other very deeply. I mean, as you would, you'd,
Yeah.
you'd probably have a lot of DNMs if you're trapped on these ships for such a long time.
Yeah, 100%. And and like just those little bits where like Naomi's like, you could let me go, and that's gonna stop Holden doing stupid. Well, not it's not gonna stop him doing all stupid things. It's gonna stop him from doing that one category of stupid thing.
Mm.
And like that's just like one of those great lines you can only get when um like they know each other that well that she's like, look, I can't promise he's not gonna do stupid things. It's Holden. Like he's creative, but like if you want to stop this one category of stupid thing, like I can tell you how to do that.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, anyway, so then Havelock reports into Mercury on what Naomi's told him. And then because the privacy shield on the Edward Israel is really bad, Naomi hears it all. So then he basically debriefs his meeting with Mercury with Naomi.
Yeah. Classic. Um, yeah, I'm back on Team Havelock from this chapter. He's trying his best. He's getting closer and closer to like defining his own personal lines. He'll get there, I'm sure. So that'll be
Yeah.
fun. And finally, they address the Miller connection as well. God damn. I'm like, I want there to be some kind of weird reunion, especially because I think it'll answer a question of like, how much is Miller a reflection of Holden's perception of Miller versus an independent entity that is stored on the servers of the proto-molecule, right? Like,
Mm,
because obviously he's manifesting by tinkering with Holden's brain. How much is his personality a representation of Holden's memories of him as well, right? Like, I think that'll be a really
yes.
interesting question to get an answer to. And the only real way to get an answer to that is for Miller to, in air quotes, have a conversation with Havelock through Holden. So yeah, I think that'll be fun. I hope that's going to happen. Otherwise, the payoff of it being Havelock and not just some random guy that is the security, deputy on the Israel. I think it's like that. It's there so we can hope for this reunion. So I really want to see it. Also, Havelock mentions that he's like, oh, he's the person that I like the most. I'm so sad he's dead or whatever. And Naomi's response is, he'll be flattered. And Havelock doesn't pick up on that not being in the past tense. I'm like, Havelock, what the hell, man? Pick up on that. I want this reunion.
Yeah, no, they're just teasing you at this point. It's great.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Moving straight along. We'll see if that goes anywhere later. We're back in Elvie's head for chapter 27. And so yeah, Elvie is like has found some neat, cool butterflies. I mean, obviously they're not butterflies, but language only gets us so far. That keeps coming up in this book, where it's just like, look, we just have to call them butterflies. They're obviously not, but they are.
Mm.
Anyway, she can't sample these butterflies because it turns
Huh?
out they're inorganic. And yeah, she basically goes to Fires to complain because like this planet's fucking weird. Like I can't get a handle on it. It turns out this isn't like two biomes interacting now that we're here. It's fucking three. Like I've got proto-molecule creatures and native Ilus creatures, and now humans are fucking everything up too.
Mm. Yeah. What are these? So okay. So are these butterflies doing anything at this point in time? Because this is right before the cleansing of the planet begins, right? So I'm like, what are these butterflies doing here? If they're about to be cleansed, it's just I tried to look if there's a clue of like what this cleansing is based on what the butterflies' actions here are, but I didn't really see anything.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Because like if the butterflies are part of this cycle, are they meant to be
Yeah.
prepping for it, or are they just all about to die? Because then like why are they here? I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe that is
Yeah.
evidence that this cleansing is not part of the natural cycle, as I kind of suspect, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah. I guess for whatever reason, I like this bit of the book always really stuck with me. The like
Hmm.
LV being like, "This is bullshit." Like it's three biomes that are interacting with each other, not two, and I can't like this is too much. Because like obviously it's kind of obvious. Like we already knew that this was life that had
Yeah.
sprung up post protomolecule. We've been told that, but like it's just it's funny how it's playing off LV sort of expecting things to go according to the textbook has been like a recurring thing with her.
Hmm.
But like what I really like is like LV's kind of like, oh, we're not doing this like properly in the natural way or like the proper scientific way or whatever. And like I think learning that there's now like proto molecule butterflies just really sort of highlights how like nonsensical the concept of natural is in a world that like was terraformed by the proto molecule. Like
Hmm.
all of the life on this planet that she's talking about being natural has actually sprung up after the proto molecule died. So
Hmm.
it's arguably less natural than the proto molecule ruins. Like
Hmm.
you could make the case that the butterflies are just as natural, if not more, than this other life that sprung up in an ecosystem that was created by the proto molecule
Yes.
butterflies.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
So it's like kind of like what this rand is really talking about to me is just like she's just here and she had this concept of like how what the alien planet was going to look like, and what's so fun about Ilus is it's like it's like this artificially created ecosystem that another tree of life has implanted itself onto, and yeah, now we're here as like a third one. It's just like the data here is a fucking mess because the whole place is.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like true that humanity's concept of this idea of natural is such a piece of shit, just conceptually. Like, it's always been nonsensical because it's so like encoded in our societal understandings of what's like normal and what's not normal, which is just nonsense, right? Like, of course, it's nonsense.
Yeah,
Like yeah, yeah, especially in this like modern kind of like crunchy way of things being like pure, being natural, and yeah, I don't know. So I think this is a good reflection of that. Like natural, it's nonsense, and
yeah,
we all know it. Yeah. So my earlier thought about the lizards being maybe proto molecules, maybe correct, maybe not. I mean, LV was able to sample them, I think, so probably not correct, but we'll see.
yeah. I also like we get some insight from Fires into the other weird shit that scientists on this planet are having to deal with. My favorite is
Mm,
that there's a pattern in UV light as it hits the surface of the planet that isn't there in high orbit. So,
mm,
like, at some point in the atmosphere, a pattern is being put into UV light for reasons we can't. Like, that's just a fun.
Yeah, that's incomprehensible. Properly incomprehensible, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like how and why are both such prominent questions for that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Why? Why? Yeah.
no, I also really like there's molecules with stable transuranic elements, which is like that's a fun like that's I guess a fun one is a different kind of thing because that's like a huge discovery for physics that will like change a lot about material sciences. Um, but again, it's just kind of like, but how? I think the understanding at the moment in physics is that just like kind of isn't possible. So somehow this planet's just got them, and it's like that's
Mm.
crazy.
Yeah. Lots of very weird things going on.
Um, but yeah, I mean, look, getting back to the human element of it all, um, LV goes and visits Lucia, who is helping this little boy we've actually been hearing about for most of the novel, um,
Yes.
who's got an eye infection, and basically LV's like, "Oh, this isn't like an eye infection. This is like he's got some,
Yeah.
yeah, he's got some aliens."
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I mean, she was talking about other creatures learning how to mine us for resources, and now this kid's got some in his eye, so that's fun. Um,
Mm.
anyway, she goes to talk to Holden about this to let him know, but kind of ends up just having a meltdown.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought it was very fun how when she's with Lucia, Lucia's asking, like, how are you handling all this? And her response is like, yeah, I'm not really impacted by this at all. And then she goes off and breaks down. And I'm like, God, Elvie, get with it. As Basia and Havelock have stepped out of their, lack of self-awareness that they had in the first kind of quarter of this book, Elvie's refusal to leave that state has really stood out to me.
Well, I think what's funny is like hers is the most benign in a way. Well, like Havelock and Barge's stupidity directly escalated and caused serious problems.
Yeah.
Um, Elvie's, I guess, arguably did, but in this more innocent way. Like when she accidentally knocked on the explosives in the ruins, that didn't help things, but like it was a more innocent mistake. But yeah, it's like because hers doesn't directly cause her life to explode in the same way yet. Um, she just hasn't really had to step out of her own ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think as well, like Fires earlier in this chapter basically like calls her out for her coping mechanism being like just like avoiding and ignoring her problems. Um, and I mean that's I think that's what we're seeing at the end here, right? Is like
Yes.
she's just blissfully unaware of her own shit, and then then it catches up to her. I don't know. I'm kind of just parroting what my therapist says to me here, but like, yeah, it's like
Mm.
she's just kind of in denial up until the point her brain can't repress anymore.
Does your therapist talk to you about alien life and cleansing cycles of planets? Because if so, that's
Does yours not?
upsetting. Uh-oh. Elliot, we got to get you to a human therapist, not this fucking space therapist. Yeah, no.
Sorry, if I have the option of a space therapist, I'm taking
Yeah,
it.
totally. As I was saying it, I was like, hold on, I don't believe this. Yeah, LV, you're a mess. Get with it. I hope that being forced into the close confines of this alien ruin is going to like force her to break out of this like nonsensical shell that she's kind of within. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, I guess heading into chapter 28, we're in Barges. Oh wait, sorry. You know what? Before we get into this chapter, I just also want to
Mm.
call out while we're listing funny things. The scientists noted. So it was like there was the UV light getting patterns, molecules with stable transuranic elements, and one of the other ones that gets thrown in there is like we're seeing volcanic activity on the islands, even though there's no volcanoes. So that's weird. Um.
Mm.
Anyway, let's talk about chapter 28.
Yeah.
We're in Barge's head, and he's just doing some good old-fashioned prison labor, um, repairing a torpedo arm on the Rocinante. He's just kind of contemplating life and has another awkward call with one of his children as he talks to Felsia on the barbacoa.
Yeah, the first half of this chapter, it's a wild chapter because like you get the sense that James S. A. Corey wants to introduce the cleansing, let's call it, from space, so you can see the scale of it. And so
Yeah,
obviously we have to be in Basia's or Havelock's head for that. And when we start out, we're in Basia's head. But the first half of this chapter, he's just like having another call and just being like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" And it just kind of is like a little bit of spinning wheels until shit goes crazy. That's what it felt like to me, at least.
yeah, a little bit. I guess, yeah, I do really like the way he's trying to figure out how to live with himself
Yes, yes,
after what he's
true.
done, and he brings forward the chat he had with Alex in his previous chapter this week, which is just like him sort of saying to the kid, and I wish he would say this more to Jacek, who was trying to kill Holden, but like
Yeah,
he's sort of saying, "Look, I'm here because of my stupid mistakes,
yes, yeah,
and like we're gonna figure out what it looks like, but like you guys need to understand that I fucked up, and that's why I'm here." Um, and that does feel like a mature step forward.
yeah. Yeah, totally. It's not a denial of him having made a mistake or trying to minimize it for his children, which I think
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it feels correct.
Um, I just wanted to call out. So Basia notes that they're doing like 2 hour laps around the planet.
Mm.
Um, and earlier in this week's chapters, we got reminded that like the days on Ilus are longer than Earth ones,
Mm.
and this
Yeah.
just made me think: is super quick orbits a high orbit or a low orbit? You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. I don't know the answer though. I have no idea. Orbital mechanics are still just a little bit beyond me.
oh, I mean they're so counterintuitive. Yeah, so I googled it, and Google seems to say it's low. So please, audience, correct me if I'm wrong, because I feel like our audience is
Mm.
better at this stuff than we are. But yeah, I guess that's just an interesting factoid for me is that low orbit means going around the planet faster.
Mm. Sure. No, it's like if you're. I always think of this old Calvin and Hobbes comic strip where Calvin's dad is showing him a record player and points to the uh, the lines on the inside of the record player and the lines at the kind of external edge of the record player, and talks about how the record spins at a uniform rate, but the distance that um, a point on the inside of the record has to travel is shorter than the distance
Yeah.
a point on the outside of the record player has to travel, even though it's spinning at a uniform rate. It's just like some things just don't make sense when you think about orbits. That's the lesson of that comic strip to me. Just don't worry about it. It
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
but also it does. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
I feel like the weird thing for me about a lot of this, like orbital and space mechanics, is when you give me individual facts, I'm like, yeah, it couldn't be any other way. But then you like string them together or extrapolate them into some property of orbital mechanics, and I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense.
Mm.
Like, you know what? Like, it's always when you take that next leap that I'm like, man, I never would have been able to make that.
Mm. Yeah.
I will say, because speaking of that, I think that's like a whole thing with dark matter and like the Milky Way. There's something where like the outside bits are spinning slower, and that was weird, and that was like physicists invented dark matter or some shit. I'm
Yeah.
mostly just spitting out these facts I half remember because like I trust that our audience will correct me on that if like, but yeah, I'm trying to remember which
Yeah.
internet law that is. Murphy's law.
Mm. Is it? Yeah, I
S-
get the names of them
no,
all
it's
mixed
it's
up.
definitely not Murphy's law. I'm doing it again. Um, just say things you half remember and you know are wrong, and the audience will hopefully
The
correct you.
people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's Murphy's law. Yeah. Um.
Oh, sorry, and I guess as an aside note, talking about the records,
Yeah.
Alex has shared with Baja his collection of 22nd century noir revival films. It's just like the most realistic space shit I've heard in my fucking life.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I can see Alex being into that kind of thing. Feels right.
And like, there was absolutely some 22nd century revival of noir films that like did it
Yeah,
in
yeah.
black and white, even though they have like 3D hologram
They've probably
technology.
invented 6 additional colors by then, yeah.
um, but yeah, anyway, back half of this chapter. Um,
Yep. The
there's
tsunami
not a
hits.
lot to talk about from the podcast perspective because basically we just
Yes.
watch Ilus pop a big pimple that it had.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh shit. Okay. And then, they call being like, hey, what we got to try and help these guys. And Alex's reaction is, how? And you're like, yeah, you know what? Great point. Yeah. A great moment. A great, like, what the fuck just happened moment.
Yeah, and
Very
like
cool.
the tsunamis coming off this thing are like visible from space, so they're presumably miles high. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
fun. Um, so yeah, then we jump back into Holden's head for chapter 29. Um, and Holden's just kind of enjoying the calm breeze and peaceful weather of life on a tectonically inactive planet.
Yeah.
Um, like literally, I do love it. This chapter opens with Holden just like chilling and being like, "Man, the weather here is great." And then
Yeah,
Alex radios in, and is like,
it's a really dumb joke, but it made me laugh. It's like, nothing could ever go wrong on this planet.
yeah, it's a real fucking like skit show transition. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, Alex radios down, kills the mood. Um, yeah. There's also a fun bit where like Holden's talking to Amos about how great the weather is here, and he's like, "Don't you ever miss like a breeze or the sun on your skin or like a gentle rain?"
Mm,
And Amos is just like, "Those are not the parts of planetary life that imprinted on my memory."
yeah.
Um, and like it's just lines like that where I'm just like, man, it's crazy to me that it's so many people read these novels without reading the
The
novellas,
novellas.
and like
Yeah.
you're really missing out with lines like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, but it's interesting, like, the difference between the kind of idyllic rancher life that Holden had on planet and the kind of Baltimore crazy life that Amos had. They are very, very
Yeah,
different worlds.
no, exactly. Like Holden grew up with like 8 parents on a ranch. Like like the level of privilege differential between the two of them is gigantic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so basically, with the news that the planet is exploding, Mercury, Holden, and Carol all meet to discuss the response to this disaster. And this disaster is so bad that all three of them are in complete agreement on what to do, which is
Mm,
let's just go hide in the ruins and hope that works. Um, and yeah, I mean, slowly but surely, almost everybody gets inside the ruins.
yeah. Um, and now, fan theories. What do we think is going to happen to this family that's trapped out in the storm? Do we think A, they're just going to die? Do we think B, they're going to turn into some kind of proto monster? They're going to like get some kind of cool metal exoskeleton, or they might just die, which is probably the likeliest case. But I still feel like there must be something more with this. Like I don't think it's just a failure of whatever, some hibernation system that has caused this. It's got to be, I feel like it's more. So whether it's going to be turning them into proto monsters or not, I think something's going on.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, going and hunkering in the ruins, it's a good idea. Hopefully, the ruins have been here for a long time, so they can survive. It feels like a very good plan. It's very Outer Wilds on that planet with all the sand. Go and hiding. That's what I was picturing. Is like going and hiding from the big sand tunnel in the tower. Um,
You know what's great?
but yeah,
Like based on the visuals from the show,
I'm
you're
not
not that
far off.
wrong.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I'm kind of surprised there isn't much of an attempt by Mercury to use this situation to his advantage. And I'm like, well, how could he yet? I'm sure there will be ways to use it soon enough, especially if they're like huddled in the ruins for a few days or weeks. Tension will run high, violence will give him excuses and justifications. But he's a team player for this little part of the
Yeah.
chapter, so that's nice. Points to
I mean,
Mercury.
this is what's fun about Mercury as a villain, right? Is that like he 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 follows the letter of the law while trying to abuse
Yes,
the spirit.
yes,
And
exactly.
it's like he's not stupid enough to use the immediacy of this emergency
Yeah.
to his advantage yet. But he's like, you can tell. Like, I think you're right. He's absolutely going to be making sure, like, for example, RCE LV just helped them all gather the machine that makes water. Um,
Yeah.
that's RCE property. Like, that's exactly the sort of thing you can be like, okay, like that's where he's going to go with this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, like I think he's fun as a villain because he's not bold and stupid enough to just like try and use this right away. But you can tell he's going to be like getting ready to do it in a more subtle way that technically follows the letter of the law.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to see what his schemes will be when they're all trapped in an alien ruin for a few weeks. I mean, maybe it's just the point that if their houses are all about to if the townies' houses are all about to be destroyed, like Mercury's job is about 70% done at that point, right?
True. Yeah, this is kind of a win for him in a way.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I guess one last bit I wanted to pull out was Holden's like looking at these ruins, and he sort of harkens back to some. I mean, he specifically calls out that they remind him of when he was on Eros and when he was on the ring station. But there's like all these curves and angles that were subtly wrong yet weirdly beautiful at the same time. Um, and it's always just so fun to me reading these books and getting lines like this where there's a kind of incomprehensible beauty and unnaturalness to the stuff the proto-molecule made. And I'm almost like one of the biggest disappointments I have with the show is because they had to actually show it. It lost that incomprehensibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true, totally.
Um, like, yeah, like, I mean, there's no way around that because as soon as you like actually show it, it has to be real. But like, I really enjoy in the way in the books, the shapes the proto molecule makes, it just kind of constantly throwing everyone where it's like it's weirdly beautiful, but also like unnatural and wrong, and that's just like so fun because like my brain doesn't really have an image that it conjures for that. It's just like a feeling,
Yeah.
and that's really fun.
Yeah, yeah. It must be so hard being a production designer on shows where you have to deal with incomprehensible things. Whatever, whether it's alien stuff like this or like kind of Cthulhu era mythos, like
Yes.
that would be such a tough ask.
Well, because it's kind of an impossible. Like as soon as you give it form, you've taken away the formlessness, which is like part of the mystery. So it's like unless you do some fucking Cloverfield shit where you hide the monster for most of it, that's really the only way you can have your cake and eat
Yeah,
it too in that
yeah,
in a visual medium.
yeah. Which is obviously kind of different. I think about this all the
Yeah,
time of like the conception of the difference in things that you can show in books versus in films and TV and whatever visual mediums. Like how different that challenge of adaptation would be. Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, God, it would be a fun one though. I would love to tackle some of those production design problems. I don't know. I mean, it's not ever something I'm going to do in my life, but
No,
how fun would it be?
no, I agree. It's fun to think about. Like this is why I got to start actually listening to Flanagan's Wake because I think there's probably a lot of talk about that because they're basically covering the original book and then like Flanagan's adaptation for a lot of things. So like
Yeah,
they're probably doing some really fun deep dives into the practicalities of all that.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, anyway, so that's where we leave it off for this week. Everybody's hunkering down in the ruins, and I'm sure they'll be fine.
yeah, yeah. It'll be great. No problems.
But yeah, I guess should we get into our discussion question that we
Yeah,
asked
let's
last
do it.
week?
It was about whether you, as our audience, would want to be a colonist on an alien world, and if so, what would you kind of be focusing on? Um, I liked 40i2's answer. It was effectively no, but there were a few interesting quirks, which was most of the interesting things about being a colonist in this world are like solved, and so it's more about like catching up to Earth rather than pioneering anything new, except for potentially new pathogens and diseases, which I thought was really fun. It's a good point. Like if you're catching up, it's not exciting to just be catching up to existing technology in a way.
Yeah, like
Although
I
they
guess
said,
it's that thing. Like if you're coming as an LV, there's a lot of excitement, but we've seen Fires kind of be like, I came here and it's just like
yeah,
pointless.
yeah, or even like for Basia, you're just kind of you're trying to get to a state of comfort that already exists elsewhere, and you're just
Yeah,
like battling against. Yeah, I don't know. It's like you're not doing anything truly new and exciting other than doing it yourself, which maybe is enough. Um, I liked what 40i2 said, though. I thought this was really funny. One upside, if you're lucky, your name might get recorded in history, but that only means that sooner or later some asshole future historian will make their work to show how much you sucked. Which I just think is a very funny take on historical revisionism or like reassessment of the past. Just made me laugh.
Yeah, no, it's like such a like funny argument for like never try and become famous because eventually someone you'll have a post death hater.
Yeah. And then we got an answer from Steve Living Room Co. as well. It was focusing a bit more on the basics of life, right? Like food, water, and shelter. And it's interesting, this hasn't really been something the books have touched on up till now, right? We kind of assume it's mostly solved. There's been like reference to, because the shuttle blew up, will there be enough food for all the RCE people who are living around now? But that wasn't really like a plot point beyond just a bit of tension. Although I guess it's fair to say, probably that's going to be much more of a plot point going forward.
Yeah. No, it's been like an existential long-term problem. Like the sustainability of the colony has been established as like, no, they still need to import stuff, but like there's been enough of a buffer that it's not an immediate concern so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it probably will be more. I because of what's going on. And I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I also I really like Stephen Lewroom's point of just like, they're older now, so they're like I guess this is something I'm coming to terms with now that like I have like a family I'm living with is like, oh, I can't still kid myself that one day I might go live on Antarctica for 12 months because I'll sign up to be like a janitor there.
But even as, I don't know if you feel this way, but as I get older, it's something I want to do less and less, Those kinds of crazy life changes just are less and less appealing to me.
Yeah, so like I totally got Steve Living Room thing where it was just like I'm too old for that shit. And I was kind of like, you're like 10 years ago I would have been like absolutely send me to the space colonies. Now I'm a bit like, I don't know, like are they gonna have like good mattresses?
Exactly, but how will my back fare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we're not going to do a discussion question this week, for many reasons, not including that we forgot.
No, that's not part of it. We want to give you guys a break to catch up on the Mercy of God's books so you could pay more attention when we reference those.
Yes.
But yeah, no, we'll be back next week with more discussions. And in the interim, if you want to leave your thoughts on this week's chapters, you can do so in the discussion thread, which will be linked in the show notes down below.
Wait, no, I've got it. The discussion question for this week is what were the frogs and hogs? No, what was it? Bunnies and hogs.
Yeah, the fine at the temple, rabbits and hogs. Is that what it was?
Yeah, speculate on the finds on the temple, rabbits and hogs line. That's the discussion question.
Yeah, that's a great discussion question. What does it mean? What are the rabbits? What are the hogs? Where's the temple? And if this is just a reference that we couldn't find, let us know. You can let us know by leaving your answer in the discussion thread, which will be linked in the show notes down below. Or hey, why not check out our Blue Sky handle where we post kind of memes every few days, if Elliot doesn't forget.
Yep, no, that's on me.
Yeah.
Don't forget to check out the website, doofmedia.com. That's where you can find this episode. That's where you can find all of our other stuff. Like when we do Carrick's on My Wayward Son, it'll be on there.
Yeah. And why not check out our Patreon? Patreon.com/doofmedia. You can support the network and check out all the other great bonuses and things. And hey, you can also just sign up to be a patron for free and you'll get like a few of the bonuses. Not all of them, but some of the things you'll just get access to. So why not?
Yeah. Including, I think Patreon has like chat rooms and stuff now. I got to figure out. If
That's crazy. Don't use Patreon's chat rooms.
Yeah, we have a Discord. Go there instead.
Yeah, that's what it's built for. Don't you? The Patreon, stay in your lane, guys. Come on.
But yeah, so we'll be back next week on the 10th of August to cover chapters 30 through to 37 of Cibola Burn.
Yeah. See you next week.